might have. So it opens it up to that average audience.
And that's the kind of audience you're seeking. So
Yeah.
a widespread
audience.
Not just scientists.
Right, and the complaints that I most often get are from scientists. So when I get letters, engineers and scientists, when I get letters just telling me that I'm doing it all wrong, why do you talk about things like this? You guys you're stupid. It's, these comments that I get sometimes. But usually they're
You
from.
should start a blog with this comment.
But see, I think anybody, I think from what I know of people who got bigger audiences or who speak to a more general population, I'm sure they could publish memoirs of the comments
Of all
that
the
they get.
comments. I actually ended up. This is another topic: how to deal with comments that you get from people. I actually started 2 folders in my inbox: a yay and a nay box. So every time I get a happy yay comment, I put it in the yay box, and the negatives go in the nay. And then every once in a while, when I'm feeling bad, oh, this email was so awful, I go out and look at the size of the folders. And the yay folder is always bigger, so it makes me happy. I'm like, oh, you're just one of those people. And it makes me happy. But where was I? I totally lost my place. With finding your audience and figuring out who you're going to address and what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. I mean, that's all very important. I mean, are you looking at something for an educational purpose? I mean, we could probably sit here and brainstorm all the different types of programs that you could create. I mean, the fact that we have, our programs are fairly similar and that they're 2 people having a conversation doesn't mean that that's the only kind of podcast that you can do. I mean, the beauty of podcasting is that you can make it a 5-minute long monologue. You can make it a half an hour question answer period where you read people's emails. You can make it a conversation. You can make it a lecture. You can, if you want to do audio or video, if you're a lecturer at a university, you can record your lectures or record supplemental conversations that you've had with people and put those out for your students. Another idea, if you're an author, you can record you can pick certain ideas or chapters from books that you're writing to be able to try and get viral content out on the web to market your writing more. So there are lots of different. Just the sky's the limit. Like whatever you can think of, you can do. And I think the big thing is figuring out for yourself, what you're happy with, what you consider successful, and whether or not you can achieve that.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to go around the room and ask people. Mention 2 podcasts that you listen to regularly, whether they be science related or not.
I'm a dork. This Week in Science and Science Friday.
Why am I not surprised?
I listen to This Week in Science, occasionally Science Friday, and then just a smattering of things.
Planetary Societies, Planetary Radio, and Nature.
At the back.
I also like This Week in Science a lot. I love Skeptic's Guide to the Universe.
They're good.
This Week in Media, Great Weekly.
Of course, all the science stuff, and then I had a Cephala podcast.
Which is the best name of podcast
It's
ever.
great. I know.
Ever.
And you'd be surprised how many people don't know what a cephalopod is. We're all good here.
I'm listening to the weekly science blogs roundup in Germany.
Yes.
It's really great.
I don't have any that I listen to regularly.
I listen to This Week in Science once, I think, but yeah, I don't have many that I listen to regularly either.
I don't listen to anything sciencey. I listen to This American Life and NPR's Market Space.
Yeah.
Margaret Kiver's dog.
With a name like that.
Yeah, I listen to NPR in the gym.
Wait till time.
I don't listen to any of them. I was on a couple of them, and sometime back with Minion Fogarty, and she struck a bridge with Grandma Girl and dropped her science thing that I was participating in.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, maybe I'll take a look at it again. I can't remember the name of the show, Science Now or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember what her show. It was really good. We had this, Mignon and I had this bond because we were both getting
you
into
know?
science.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'd met her. And then I was like, oh, but you went the making money route. That's nice.
Yeah.
She's like, in terms of people making money on their podcast, Mignon Fogarty has done a wonderful job of turning her
She got
podcasts
that article
into
in the Wall Street Journal
Mhm.
that just blew it.
It blew up.
way up.
So what is yours called?
Anyway, she dropped
Grammar
the thing
Girl?
I was doing.
She's been on
so,
Oprah too, right?
She's been on Oprah. She has
That's a different planet.
she's got this. She's turned her. She went away from the science podcast and she started creating these 1.5-minute long podcasts with grammar tips. And they're her quick and dirty tips. It's Grammar Girl's quick and dirty grammar tips. And but she's now created a brand, and so it's not just Grammar Girl. There are like all these other shows that are done by different hosts, and it's all under the same umbrella. And the whole thing is that she's partnered with a book publisher so that these quick and dirty tips that come out of it can actually end up being published into books and marketed. And so it's actually she's created a machine.
When I was doing it with her, I was in here in North Carolina, she was in Arizona. Thank you, she was.
Yeah.
And we did it every week, and it was really fun. I really enjoyed doing it. And thought, well, I see. Now that she's gone on to bigger and better things.
Were there other? Yeah.
Listen to a lot. I don't know, Radio Lab.
Oh, yeah.
Love that show.
I guess not
Yeah.
What about you?
Podcasts that I listen to, I don't listen to anything regularly, but I try and occasionally dip into iTunes and listen to things that are coming out and hear what people are doing. So the science podcast, Rob Frederick, he's done a good job of turning that into an interesting podcast. The Naked Scientists, I think they do a great job. Those are just a couple that I listen to.
Just NPR, but it's not regularly.
What about you?
Only when my husband is cleaning because he puts it on the speakers. So, This American Life and Adam Carolla's tips for fixing your plumbing.
You're like, strangely, I know a lot about fixing plumbing now.
It's like I knew Adam Carolla from when he used to do that sex tip show with Dr.
Yeah.
Drew at night.
Love
But
Lines.
his podcast is all about this is how you patch your drywall.
Oh, I need to still listen to that one. I need to patch my drywall.
Yeah, This Week in Science and stuff on our site, actually, we get a lot. I'm from Site B, which is a platform.
Yeah.
So I have to listen to all the stuff to get ideas from different places. And
Yeah.
a lot of interesting stuff. So.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay, all right.
I'm a podcast junkie. There's a whole bunch I listen to. So I'll mention 3 which are in different areas. I listen to John Odell's interview with innovators every time he records one. Have been since I think from the beginning. Buzz Out Loud is my daily car fix.
I love Buzz Out Loud.
Yeah, and the other one that I listen to, this goes back to the very geeky one, is Ruby 5. It's a hardcore Ruby podcast. So that's me.
So there are a lot of different kinds of podcasts. Some people are listening to science-y podcasts. Some people are listening to tech podcasts. Some people are listening to financial podcasts, entertainment podcasts, plumbing podcasts. I mean, basically what comes down the wonderful thing about podcasting and the thing that makes it so different is that it's individual. It's very individual, and so people can find just about any content out there that they want to listen to. And so, like Deepak said, you're going to find listeners who really want to listen to the content that you're putting out. And so you get people who really, are kind of dedicated to what you're doing and really interested in and become interested in hearing new things that you're going to put out. Did any of you have, any specific interests in podcasting, things that you're interested in talking about specifically?
I have
Any
a
other
question
comments?
that's related to what you've been talking about, which is, you certainly see for music, where people get suggestions for what to listen to from automated systems and from friends and from all sorts of things. And I haven't seen really good, like the Genius thing you can use that for podcasts and it's terrible. I mean, it doesn't really find things well. I'm wondering if that's due to some sort of, that there isn't a lot of annotation of what's in the podcast, or if there's some way to improve that. I think you would find that people expand out of their little circle of the podcast that they listen to find other things more like they do with music, then
Right. There's a new program that that This Week in Science is going to be partnering with. I'm completely blanking on the name. It's like Zimbra or something like that. But it's a soft